Welcome to The Fuzz Buzz, the podcast that dives headfirst into the gritty and gripping world of first responders. From military heroes to our courageous police force, brave firefighters, dedicated EMS professionals, compassionate nurses, diligent correction officers, and the unsung heroes of dispatchers, we're covering it all. Get ready for a no-nonsense, no-holds-barred conversation with your hosts, bringing over 45 years of combined experience from the heart of a bustling city. Retired Police Lieutenant Jessica Taylor and her co-host, the one and only retired Motors Officer, Mike Gonzalez. These two are fearless in tackling any subject, and we mean any. From street smarts to office politics, they'll keep you on your toes, juggling your professional and personal life like a pro. Now, let's be clear, folks. There's no BS here. Jessica and Mike aren't just your average cops turned podcasters. They're sharp, witty, and edgy, with opinions that are all their own, and they certainly don't represent anyone else or their organizations. So, fasten your seatbelts, because the Fuzz Buzz is here to give you the unfiltered truth about life behind the badge and beyond. Are you ready?
Hi, it's code for 148 North St. Andrews. Follow her, Nancy.
Then let's roll.
Well, hi. I feel like we haven't done a podcast in a while.
Yeah, so is you.
So this is episode 12, and literally like 5 minutes ago, we wrapped up episode 11. There was just too much material. We broke it down into 2 pieces. So that is what we're doing. So if you guys would please like and subscribe to our channels, that would help us out a lot. We're on YouTube and Rumble and Spotify and all those places, but we're not making any money off of this. We just want to get our message out. So that'll really help.
That just gets you all thinking about what's really going on out there.
Yeah.
It's, you know,
because it's not just police work,
No.
right? We cover a lot of stuff.
you live in that white world, you're not paying attention to what's going on behind the scenes. So
Yeah.
there's a lot moving right now and a lot happening.
There is definitely a lot moving. And speaking of a lot moving, not this episode that we did 5 minutes ago, but the episode before that, we talked about AI, right? And how fast it's moving and how creepy it's getting. And it's just eventually probably going to take us out.
Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't you think?
Watch Terminator.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
And what was the name of the Skynet? Skynet was the name of it, Genesis, Project Genesis.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know Google calls it Gemini or what?
Gemini.
Yeah, but still, it's like, okay.
Mm-hmm. If you hear our cat, we're sorry, but she's begging for attention right now. So anyway, let's hop on into it let's recap on some more AI computer shit or robots, I guess.
Good old Joe Rogan.
When I watch those Boston Dynamic videos, those robots that they're inventing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
They're getting so good. They're acrobats
dude,
now. These things scare the shit out of me because you could just easily see them with a gun on them.
Yeah, that's RoboCop shit.
Exactly, right?
Terminator shit.
Yeah,
Throw some skin over it. And you got Arnold Schwarzenegger running around with a shotgun.
right.
Yeah.
Look at how it moves and gyrates.
Dude, it's real. And it's like you talk about so look at that and think about the progression that from the Wright brothers to Hiroshima in terms of aircraft. I went to MIT and they took us down to the robotics wing and showed us a robot cheetah that they had invented. That was what they were.
That shit freaks me out. This robot is 10 years ago. Just think of how far it's come in 10 years.
doing with the cheetah.
Oh, this one.
That was what is that MIT?
Ago. Yeah, this was 10 years ago.
10 years ago. Look
This
how fast it's
This is
going.
what they showed me.
This is 28 miles an hour. I bet it goes 100 now.
Like, think about
It's probably
that.
electric now. We were talking about electric engines.
Think about that with a lightsaber attached to its head, just like charging through crowd control. Right?
Look at this thing. Wow. That fucker.
Like, think about the applications.
Yeah, but
Like,
it's not good. It's not going to teach people.
Give me go. What's one kind, loving, positive application for that thing? Like
rescue, pull people out of a mine.
I have a dog.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Maybe rescue.
But they're not going to use it for that.
No, they're not, dude. They're not. That's coming like in your door.
So I can see for that last piece, for that yellow thing or whatever. I mean, I can see it application for that, for maybe like a hostage barricade.
Oh yeah, I mean
or,
they got the ones on tracks that go in, and not nearly sophisticated, but yeah, they send robots in all the time for, bombs, not hostage negotiations.
I can see where this planet is going, and it's not good. And
Oh.
I can see that going completely sideways.
What was that movie with Will Smith in it? It was iRobot.
iRobot.
Yeah, where they're basically all just.
And I've never seen it because this shit freaks me out.
Oh, I've seen it several times. Yeah, they have all these robots that are basically maids, for working around the house.
And that's a documentary. That's not fiction anymore.
So then they all turn.
Yeah. Yep. So here's another robot.
Mark my words, AI is far more dangerous than nukes.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. I won. This is a good beginning of my plan to dominate the human race.
See, we laugh because we think it's so far out there, but it's not.
Or we laugh because they think we control AI and that's a joke.
Mm-mm. AI is controlling itself.
Yeah.
It's self-learning, and it's so scary to me. It is just so.
Well, it's an independent thinker with sometimes all it does is read what's out there and interprets it itself. And a lot of times that shit on the internet's wrong.
Yeah. Let's see. We were talking. Well, let's talk about this first. Also on not this episode 5 minutes ago, but the episode before that, we were talking about the house in Virginia that blew up.
Mm-hmm.
Remember?
With Mr. Wu?
Yeah.
The crazy guy?
Well, supposedly.
Yeah.
So, we kind of reserved our initial judgment that the CIA is somehow involved, because that's automatically where my brain always goes. But I said, okay, well, I'll just wait for some facts to come down before I take that position. Well, now facts are starting to come down.
And the whole family is CIA.
And wouldn't you know it, it's somehow attached to the CIA. Shocking.
Sounds like CIA cleaning up their own mess.
So for those of you that haven't seen the video, here it is again. And what I want you, okay, so here's the PK, or the peacekeeper is what they're called. They're armored cars. Cops are serving a warrant on this house. This guy has just closed on this house 2 days ago. And what you'll notice is right over here where the mouse is, on the side of the house is where the explosion comes from. I'm suspecting like C4 or something, wouldn't you say? Right?
Yeah, that or there's a propane tank, and maybe the house was run on propane, and they just rigged the propane tank to go.
So you can see it like right here. So you learn,
we get it.
Yeah. So you learn that, this guy closes on this house a couple days prior, but his name was James Yu.
Wu.
Wu?
Yeah. They put you in there at the beginning, but it's Wu.
They put Wu in there first, and they said you.
That was it. Okay.
So anyways, doesn't matter. So then it goes, where was his house? It gives the address. Who is James Wu's father? James Wu's father is King Hung Yu, American University, which is a CIA cutout. He wrote the plan to retake North Korea with bioagents for president of South Korea in this picture. And there's a picture. Who is his mother? James Wu's mother is Ann Shin Yu of the U.S. State Department, CIA. Voice of America's lead broadcaster for South Korean division of U.S. propaganda, which we learned about in our last episode. Mouthpiece for the Voice of America. See, they infiltrate the media companies. So who was James Yu? James Yu had a long career, but his most notable job was head of global information and physical security at Global Crossing. And what is Global Crossing? Well, Global Crossing is an espionage central and an international spying apparatus that is still in operation today. Who founded Global Crossing? Gary Winnick founded Global Crossing in 1997. Is Gary Winnick still alive? Well, no, actually, Gary Winnick died November 4th, which is exactly 1 month before this house blew up. So isn't that interesting?
Like I said, CIA cleaning up its mess.
Yep. Everything is related. So now that Alex Jones is back on, X, we have lots of new Alex Jones material to share because Alex Jones has always been way ahead of the game. And Alex Jones has been saying forever that they are putting atrazine in the water, which will turn frogs they'll swap sexes. So there'll be a female to a male, or it'll turn them gay. And everybody's like, yeah, right.
So essentially what you're saying is they turn them all male, right?
Well, I made it, I understood it to mean that they'll turn the opposite sex, but I think maybe actually you're right.
Female to male, or turn them gay, which they won't reproduce is what they won't do. Right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. So Robert F. Kennedy Jr., right? He comes out and he says, there is atrazine throughout our water supply. And if you put atrazine in a tank full of frogs, it will feminize every frog in there.
Okay, so feminize them.
Okay, so
they can't reproduce.
Alex Jones had once said, I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the freaking frogs gay. Robert Kennedy says, 10% of male frogs will turn fully into viable females able to produce viable eggs. If it's doing that to frogs, there's a lot of other evidence that it's doing that to other human beings as well. So Alex Jones is warning us about atrazine in the water a long time ago.
Yeah, it makes you think. I mean, was he privy to the playbook back then, and he's just spilling the deets on the receipts on the playbook?
Nobody knows.
Yeah.
Nobody knows. A lot of people suspect.
Because he's been pretty accurate.
Yeah, he's accurate as hell.
Even to the exact drug they're putting in the water. So I would think that he got his hands on a playbook.
He might, yeah.
Yeah. That's just
there's atrazine throughout our water supply. If you in a lab put atrazine in a tank full of frogs, it will feminize every frog in there.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
And 10% of the male frogs will turn into fully viable females able to produce viable eggs. If it's doing that to frogs, there's a lot of other evidence that it's doing it to human beings as well. There's atrazine throughout our water supply. If
the guy is right more often, I mean, almost always.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, just being so accurate.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, he's got to.
Well, whatever. I'll take the information.
Oh, yeah, I'll take the information too. Like you said, I mean, he's putting stuff out from 20 years ago that's coming true today. So that's the long play. Isn't that what it's all about right now?
Yeah. And so he's also always been warning us that, all of the Hollywood is CIA. They're all bought and paid for. They're Satanists. He has been saying this forever. So LeBron James has his little pregame ritual, and I never really thought that much about it. And then, here it is. Okay, so that's the ritual that he does before every game. And then somebody says LeBron James doing his pregame ritual of throwing up the pyramid, which is for the Illuminati, and 666. And so then this next person, and I'm like, I don't know. I saw the Illuminati sign, but I didn't know what all this chest pounding stuff was and all that kind of stuff. Well, it relates to the Baphomet. And so, hold on a second.
Ritual.
Let me put it up for you. And this kind of spells it out so you can
scroll back there.
Can it?
Yeah, just grab there you go.
Okay. This is it's titled LeBron James Satanic Ritual. So I used to think that all of this stuff was just crazy. You know, we ran into people on the street all the time, or at least I did. And they were always saying this kind of stuff. And I'm like, whatever, you know, I don't buy into this kind of stuff. Now I see it. And you see it when you know what you're looking for, you see it everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. And so this Alex Jones popped up with, you know, his satanic devil worshiping, you know, videos again. And so I thought I'd play one for you so you can see it for yourself. Do you have any?
Oh, no, I was going to say, what was that documentary? Like a 3-part documentary where they were just talking about all the hidden signs that are out there. And I can't remember.
I can't remember either, but I think we watched it together, right?
Yeah. You know, it just talked about every bit of the, you know, and like you said, once you see it, you're aware of it, it's everywhere.
It's everywhere in everything, and the least suspecting places too.
Well, they're not hiding it. That's the thing. It's just people choose not to
You just don't know.
on
Yeah. You just don't recognize it because you don't know what it is. And they're counting on you for that. So, okay. So we're going on to our next episode or our next segment, which is people are just sick of their shit. Right. And so these French farmers over in France their farms have been taken from them. They're not allowed to farm because they're
eminent
domain and carbon emissions or whatever. It's just another control tactic. So the French farmers are mad as hell, and rightfully so. And so they go down to the government building and give them a little present.
Give them a piece of their mind of sorts.
Cow shit.
Yeah, it's a manure spreader.
I mean, I love to see it. I mean, I think people are, you know, starting to fight back. And I know that you and I have been, even if we're out here standing alone and screaming from the top of our lungs, you know, at least in my gut, I know.
Yeah.
You know,
the sad thing about it though is they're like just trying to save their way of life and preserve their family. And for what they did, they'll probably go to jail, and the criminals who stole their land and just keep stealing it.
Yeah.
You know, it's not fair.
No, it's not fair. And it's going on right underneath your nose. Okay. So moving on to our police videos we're going to cover. The first one is the Denver cop that shoots the knife wielding guy in the Whole Foods store. Did I sent that one to you, right? Yep. Okay, so on October 19th, Denver police officers were called to Whole Foods near Union Station for a report of someone brandishing a knife. Upon arrival, they found a man, 33-year-old Lateef Robinson, with a 13-inch knife. Officer tried to negotiate with the suspect and offered him food, a place to stay, access to the hospital, money, and a chance to charge his phone in an attempt to de-escalate the situation. When the man began walking towards the officer, he fired at him. Another officer shot a taser, hitting the man and bringing him down. The initial gunfire did not hit the suspect. The taser made contact with the suspect, and the gunshot struck a freezer. The suspect was taken into custody and is facing a charge of felony menacing, but officials are also seeking to connect the suspect with mental health resources. The store was also evacuated after shoppers were told to take cover. You are responsible for every shot that you fire.
What's your name, bro? What's your name? Just talk to me.
Jack, we have a bus station.
Make sure we have a bus stage.
Let's sit you two on the armrest.
Can you make sure that they can't have him, like, that there's no access if he runs back here, it's both sides open? We need to make sure he can't come back. Staff that just walk towards staff back there and ask them, and make sure. Yeah, there's a backside. So he's already said where the real bullets. I don't want him to charge. You better be popping that. He even steps.
Listen, just come outside and talk to us. We got all day. Come talk to us. What you think?
Remember I told you it's going to get crowded? We don't need it to be like this. You just drop the knife right where you're at, we're good.
Hey, sir, let's drop the knife, please. Let's talk. Let's have a conversation. You don't need you guys at all.
Nope.
Taser! Come on. Put your hands behind your back.
Stop fighting. Stop fighting. Stop fighting.
Calm down.
It's back over that's behind us.
We got the knife.
Second for any other weapons.
What do you think?
You know, I mean, they seem like they're doing it all correctly. I mean, because you train, you got your less lethal, you got your taser, then you put your, your lethal cover with the taser because they're basically, with the taser in hand. Then you have your contact team set up, and I thought they had that all set up. So I'm not sure where the shot came from. And,
yeah, I couldn't figure it out either. And it also looked like they had a 40 millimeter blue nose. Did they?
Yeah, they did. That came from the far other side.
Why didn't they use it?
Well, I mean, I thought they were doing everything right just with the taser. But, I don't know if that.
Well, they could have created more distance if they would have used the blue nose,
Yeah, true. But yeah, as far as that shot, I don't know if it was sympathetic fire or they felt like the first tasing didn't work. The first set of darts, because you could see it's still moving. And I don't know if they just took that as, their, a failed taser attempt. But then he deployed a second set of darts and worked perfectly. They had that muscle lock, all dropped them. So. But,
yeah, I was just sitting there when at the end when they saw the 40. I'm like, why didn't you guys just use that right off the bat?
Yeah. Well, and I was worried because
because your taser at most will only go 25 feet.
Yeah.
Right, at most. So
exactly.
Your 40 can go much farther. I mean, I didn't understand.
Yeah. Well, and he also had that back where he could have out where he could have just gone into the
back of the store or
yeah,
whatever.
Because there's like the deli section there, and there's an opening, but I don't know, maybe they had officers back there too. But that one shot just kind of surprised me.
I don't know where it came from or who fired it. Or
everything was working so well, and all of a sudden you hear that shot. Luckily, it hit the freezer instead of the suspect. But
I don't know if it was intentional or an AD or what.
Yeah.
But
there are no ADs or NDs, negligent discharge.
Yeah.
As they put them now. But so everything looked good up until you hear that one round being fired. And like you said, they should have just gone with the 40 mil blue, rubber bullet basically. But
explain to people what a 40 is.
Oh, it's a larger size round. It's a rubber round.
It's like that big round.
And
and close.
They call it the blue nose, which it's because it's a blue round. It means
But they also have orange too, right? That have CS on them.
Yeah. The blue comes from the military because military, whenever you saw anything with a blue tip on it, it was basically inert. Because like when I was in the military, I was on a Bradley and we shot 25 millimeter rounds. One was high explosive, the other one had depleted uranium. But for all the training we did, all the practicing, they're all blue tip. And that's why I think they just carried that into the law enforcement just to show that, hey, this is an inert, non-lethal round. But,
Yeah.
the big old rubber bolt that puts
Yeah,
a wallop on you.
yeah, well, it could have put them down, and it could have,
Or, definitely get pain compliance out of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know why they didn't deploy it. I don't know.
Yep.
Okay, so this one is just this dude who attacks the officers.
Yeah, I couldn't quite figure out what was going on before, but yeah.
Yeah, it's obviously in New York.
Funny enough, the Olympic doesn't have sweating.
Looks like they're finishing up something and getting ready to leave, and boom.
Watch again.
Yeah, it's a short video, sure.
So it looks, that guy gets stabbed in the back.
Stabbed or stabbed?
Stabbed.
Yeah.
And now these two are trapped in an elevator, it looks like, right?
Right. Yeah.
With
no,
this
exactly.
guy coming at him with
Yeah,
the
just
knife.
walking right at him with the knife. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
it looked like somehow the taser didn't deploy because you could see he had it out and ready, but I don't know.
why would you deploy it? I don't know. In that close proximity,
yeah,
it's just, that's a lethal force situation, in my opinion, for sure.
I mean, you try to, I don't know if he actually injured the other officer because it looked like he got him in the vest. But yeah, I mean, he definitely was trying to cause harm, lethal harm.
Yeah. Does a knife go through a vest? Depends on the knife, probably, huh?
Depends on the knife.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of force to get it through there.
Yeah. But I mean, it happens. I was telling Mike earlier today when we were watching this video that I went to a call down at Green Lake, and there's this apartment complex that everybody is familiar with. And it was a man with a knife call. So we did know that going in, but he was supposed to be in his apartment. But we thought, well, maybe we should just get off and a couple floors down and go up the stairs. And I don't know what made us so smart that day. I really don't. So we got off a couple of floors down and went up the stairs. That son of a bitch was standing at the elevator waiting for it to open and us to come out with a knife in his hand.
Yeah. It's,
I mean,
a lot of little things. I mean, I think that's probably something they taught or mentioned, and, just something to put on the tool belt. And luckily you pulled it off the tool belt because, saved you guys from getting hurt and potentially, having to go to a lethal force situation.
Mm-hmm. You're so freaking lucky.
Yeah.
This one I just thought was interesting because suspects will do anything in the back of a patrol car. And then anything can happen to a patrol car. This is in Arkansas.
145 dispatch.
Why is he not in handcuffs?
He is. He slipped one cuff. See, he's got the right hand still got a cuff on it. And he's using the left cuff as a weapon.
Oh, okay.
See right there?
Oh, yeah, I see.
So clearly he was able to slide one hand out. And now he's trying to slide the other one out.
Now he's trying to ditch his dope or what?
No, he's grabbing a lighter.
Is he still in the car?
No, he got ejected out the back. Yeah, he got ejected out the back window.
Oh, I didn't. Can you see it on camera?
Oh yeah, go ahead towards the end. Watch him get sucked right out.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, there's like this. See right there, you can see that he's got the cuff his left cuff is around his hand, like almost like brass knuckles.
Mhm.
So, I hate to be critical, but it's like you didn't do your gauge and double lock because he clearly slipped his left hand out of the cuff.
Yeah.
And now he's free in the back of the car. He wasn't in a seatbelt. He was, if search incident to arrest, he still had a Zippo lighter on him where he's now trying to light the back seat on fire. Just a lot of bad things.
A lot of things just pertaining to the suspect that are not good, as far as searching and cuffing and
then
all the.
I mean, I've had suspects in the back slip their cuffs, not like get out of them, but where they slide them down the back of their legs and bring their hands to the front, which makes
all the
it
time
a dangerous situation because now they can fight you. I've basically sped up and gone code to the lights and sirens to the jail just to expedite it for safety
reasons.
It
sounds like he did too. When he started kicking the window, he's expedited. But
you heard him turn the sirens on and start speeding up, but I'd never wrecked like that.
No, I don't. I'd be interesting to see the in-car video.
Yeah.
Because obviously they have backseat car video. I mean, I wonder what the dash cam shows.
Yeah. I mean, clearly something jumped out in front of the patrol car where but he looked like he went off the road down into the, maybe the median or something and rolled it because that guy got sucked out the back window pretty hard.
Yeah. So
crazy.
Crazy. So one of my favorite, so we're off police work again. We're going back to stuff that's just interesting, is ancient civilizations. And you're not as into it as I am, but I am just very, very intrigued by it. And so is Joe Rogan. So anytime Joe Rogan starts talking about these ancient civilizations, I listen because it's absolutely fascinating how advanced they were. And nobody wants to acknowledge it.
No, the archaeologists don't want to revisit it. Which I find really interesting because then they'll be proven wrong and they'll have to
Well, it comes back to, the system. The system is set up to control the knowledge. If you have, knowledge, maybe they knew how to run cars on air or water or whatever.
Yeah.
Then they don't want any of that knowledge to get out. Because then,
Well, some of the investigators say, how many great resets have we had?
Tons. Tons.
Maybe that technology got lost in that, and they're, who knows?
Or it's not lost and they're just suppressing it.
True.
Right?
Yeah. Well, even now today, you can make an argument for all the patents that are out there that they basically just keep on the shelves, hydrogen engines.
Well, no, they have the patents, but the people that applied for the patents have mysteriously died.
Well, or they basically, like I said, you got combustion, these gas engines where there's actually running hydrogen engines, but they don't want to produce them because then, the conglomerates, the oil people lose all the money. And so they just shelve them. They buy the patents, buy the people out, and they leave them shelved. So there's technology out there that could really advance and help this world that they're on the shelf for greed.
And you see that in, when you, on that Netflix series, Ancient Apocalypse, you start to see that there is just no way that these civilizations existed without very advanced
you
tools.
Got perfectly cut granite blocks that are straight lined. There's no way you can do that with a hammer and chisel. How can they lift them that high to stack them without,
dragging them across the sand?
30 tons and stuff. Yeah.
With no gaps. There's just no way. And everything is absolutely perfectly a cylinder or a ball or whatever.
Or the carvings on it, where they got animals or, snakes and stuff crawling. Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. So anyway.
1,000 years ago, we were hit by a series of comets. It's pretty evident that that's a fact. Something happened that reset civilization.
Okay, and I'm adding this into this podcast because we had talked about the Obama's movie and a major incident happening. And so that one is probably going to be man-made, but it's civilization in the research that I've done has been wiped out numerous times.
And there's very little evidence of advanced civilizations up until recently, up until the last couple of decades. They started uncovering things like Göbekli Tepe and all these other structures that are clearly from more than 12,000 years ago. And they're really complex and really large with enormous stones. It's sort of caused people to rethink the history of the Earth and the history of human civilizations.
What I am certain is that humans were doing spectacular things, and a cataclysmic event happened called the Younger Dryas and reset something for somebody.
Roughly 11,000, 12,000 years ago.
Exactly right. Reset something for somebody. These people are capable of anything. Absolutely anything. And so much so that, did you know that there's a place that's called the Door to Hell?
No, I didn't know that.
It's natural. But in 1971, engineers from the Soviet Union ignited a fire in a gas-filled hole in the Turkmenistan desert. Anticipating that the flames would extinguish within days, they were surprised when the fire continued to burn. Now, 52 years later, this site is known as the Door to Hell and is still ablaze. Look at that. Isn't that nuts?
It's probably a natural pipeline under there.
Oh my God.
It's a barbecue. It's a fire pit with, propane tanks underneath it. Propane line.
Oh, so I just thought that
crazy.
was really interesting. Okay, but on to our funny stories. We like to close out our episodes with funnies. So explain to people the latest Walmart scandal.
Oh, the one we were reading about, or the
yeah,
one? Oh,
yeah, the double bagging incident.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. It's like, just kids today, they just, it's like, what would they call it? What is that new math?
Common Core.
Common Core. Yeah, this person shopping decided, hey,
she buys $300 worth of groceries and is doing it in self checkout.
Yeah,
and she doesn't want to carry it all in multiple bags, so she'd rather carry one heavier bag
by double bagging
it.
Yeah. So they gave the girl or the attendant was like, well, why don't you just use felt halfway and use another bag? And she just couldn't get the fact that you're using the same, because she was trying to get her to use less bags, because she's like, well, you're double bagging, you're wasting bags. And the customer's like, no, doing it this way just means I have to carry less. And it just goes on. And at one point, the customer's like, look, I have a gallon of milk and a gallon of orange juice. If I double bag it, I can carry it both in one bag, but you're telling me to take one out and put it in another bag.
It's the same amount of bags and it's the same amount of product.
But yet the employee's like, no.
Yeah.
Just couldn't figure it out.
She couldn't figure it out.
It was just hilarious.
So every episode, it seems like something Walmart-y comes up. And this is just the latest thing about Walmart. It's ridiculous, between their surveillance system and, checking receipts and no bags. And now these.
Yeah. Then this employee comes over and tries to chastise someone doing their job. And then the customer's like, well, if you don't like the way I'm doing it, then you do it. It's your job. Well, that's not my job anymore. And
yeah.
She laughed and said, yeah, the girl, the employee just went back over to her little rubber mat and started playing on her phone again. Clearly annoyed. But it was just like math. It's simple.
I mean, it's just kind of like, oh my God. I mean, she live in an apartment. I would rather carry 2 bags up instead of 4.
Or if you buy $300 worth of groceries, you're talking, if you do it their way, you're going to have about 15 to 20 bags that try to finagle into your hands rather than,
Plus, they're Walmart bags. They're cheap as shit and they break. Oh, anyway, that was really funny. Just like, lady, come on. I mean, how hard is it?
Well, it seems like common sense is just a disease that is going extinct. It's like, come on, people, just use some common sense. Look at the bigger picture.
Okay, so before we cut out on our last video, if you guys would please
help us out.
Like, subscribe, and ring a bell. That'll really help us out. We're going to be censored. We know that already. We're on YouTube and Rumble and Spotify and all those places.
We can only get censored if you help, because then YouTube's going to be on us. So help us get censored.
Yeah, I don't care.
I don't either.
I'm going to say what I'm going to say. So Anyway, here is our last video. And it's the baby elephant eating bananas. And it's not really funny, but it's just cute.
It's a feel-good moment.
Yeah. Oops, hold on. Hold, please. I need to, it moves so fast.
Oh. That could be kind of scary if you didn't know. God, they eating like our puppies.
Yeah,
Where's it going so quick? That's
pretty cute, right? Yeah. So thanks you guys for joining us. We just did 2 episodes back to back, 11 and 12. So we'll get them pushed out here real quick. But we hope that you have a great rest of your week, and we will talk to you soon.
Hey, have a good one.
Bye. Be kind. Love one another.
Thanks so much for tuning in to this episode of the Fuzz Buzz Podcast. If you're enjoying what you've heard today, please feel free to rate, subscribe, or leave a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. That helps others find the show, and we greatly appreciate it. Once again, thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next episode of the Fuzz Buzz. Y'all be good out there.